Hello, everyone. Good evening from London. It's about 8 past 9 in the UK, London. I hope you're well. So I'm starting a little bit later today. Had a few things to sort out, but I'm ready. I'm ready for a spot of stitching. So this piece, oh my goodness, this piece is from Colin Thompson, and the kit, it came as a kit. This is from Gecko Rouge. Some of you might not be familiar with, and I'll talk a little bit about them a bit later on. But first of all, let me show you the full markup. Brace yourself. Ta-da! This is the full piece. So it's full of different items, full of colors, and lots going on. So the starting point for me is the upper left. So cast your gaze toward the upper left. You have to travel a little bit to find it, where the little red house is. That's where I started. And the scrabble piece, letter C, that's where I started. It was probably over 3 years ago when I got this kit. And I've been gradually working toward diagonally to bottom right, and obviously I'm still very far away from the bottom, and but you have to start somewhere, right? So just look at the red house there and a few items there, and I'll try to show you my progress so far. So this is obviously framed, so I took a picture before I put it on the hoop. So there you go. I know it's slightly crinkled, okay, but you know what it's like. So, so upper left there, that letter C and the red house, and there's a couple of sort of masks-like items there. I can't really figure out what they are, and few other items. And travel to the right there. There's a doll there, and the bottle. So this is where I am right now. If I open my fabric for you, this is what it looks like. So today I kind of agonizing over where I should start work on tonight, because if you look at it, there are all sorts of things going on along this diagonal line. I could have started anywhere really, but I decided to start to work on the area under the doll there, because there's some beautiful colors I really like. So you probably get a hint there, and a few sort of loose stitches there. So that's where I'm going to work on, and to see how many stitches I can put in today, because this is an epic piece. The full, let me just show you my app here so you can appreciate the kind of scale of this piece. So I'm using Pattern Keeper to track my progress. And so from here, this is where I am. And if I can zoom in a little bit, so you can see the number of stitches there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. And it's over 800K. For some reason, any number beyond 4 digits just lose meanings for me. So I never really looked at it. I just knew there was a lot. And, and also I'm starting from 0 stitches today and see how far I can go. So in terms of progress, I'm on 7.72. And this is nearly, well, I wouldn't say I worked on it every day. Tonight is probably been about 6 months that I picked it up, to hoping to work on it properly. But I've been working on this piece for 3 years now, really. And the first year, I worked on this piece almost every day. I put in stitches every day. So, but this 7.7, I'm proud of it. Okay, and this is how it rolls, you know, how it goes with pieces like this, really, really big. And this fabric, I wouldn't say it's duvet size, but it's blanket size for sure. And you can probably wrap comfortably wrap a 5-year-old very, very easily, depending on how big your 5-year-old is. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So I'm working on 25 count pre-gridded DMC fabric, even weave, and let me see, 1/1. So full cross, 1/1, one strand, and the floss is coming from Gecko Rouge, and I believe these are DMC floss. But as you can see, the numbering system here, they basically, when you get the PDF, they don't show you the actual colors. So this piece has, let me see, 149 colors, and this is how it's numbered from 1 to 149. And so this is what I'm working with when it comes to Gecko Rouge kits. And just let me zoom in a little bit and bring on the this epic markup there as reference, and I'm going to kind of work on this area, and I'll talk you through my journey of this piece. And let me quickly look at the chat here. Sarah, hello, welcome. And Janelle, hello from Australia. Loved Australia. Brittany, finally, you made it. I know you popped in briefly, but yes, but only weekends you can join us. I'm so happy for it. And yes, these colors are absolutely amazing. And Janelle says it's so busy, beautiful. Yes, I like busy designs. It keeps me busy as well and not bored. So that's kind of one of the things that draws me to any particular design. And so this piece, you can see this little doll here. So some of you might be aware, I talked about this before. I have slight kind of doll phobia. Any mannequin, clown, you know, that those type of things, I get a bit nervous. But for some reason, this doll, I didn't mind. I was a bit nervous, but it's actually turned out quite pretty, and I don't mind it, even though there are two eyes staring at me. But this I don't mind. I think one I have problem with, let me just quickly bring up my whip, the image here. If you look to the left, there are three kind of mask looking thing. The middle one, I struggle a little bit. Those, I don't know what it is. There's some sort of mask there. And then there are two eyes, but the eye on the right side is kind of, I don't know, it's not there. So the right eye is missing. So when I stitched this piece, I had to take a few breaths, you know, to get through it. But the reason I wanted to go for this piece is because the rest of the design is just so beautiful. It's got so much going on. So I actually don't mind. There are a couple of, you know, doll faces on the piece. I think I'll be able to work around it somehow. But this doll is quite pretty. I really don't mind. So, and from this point, I'm using 28 size needles, and I'm going to just zoom in to my app, and I'm going to work on this area just below the doll here. So the method of choice, I thought about it. I'm going to go for just easygoing mini cross country. So I'm going to stitch till the thread runs out, or the stitches run out around the proximity, because I try to import this onto Saga, so maybe I can work in the Saga way. But the Saga doesn't like this pattern because Gecko Rouge has got their own color numbering system. The apps, the Saga just doesn't recognize, and I don't blame the app. It's not the app's problem. It's the fact that all the thread numbers are hidden. So if you get Gecko Rouge kits, what they will give you is a special thread card, because if you're working with Pattern Keeper, for instance, they have a special thread card they will send to you, and you can import it to Pattern Keeper, and it works like that. But not so lucky with Saga. It doesn't work with Saga, and so I've been having tremendous difficulty importing this pattern to cross stitch Saga. So I'm going to park it for a while, because I do have the option to manually put in the numbers and pick kind of close to the thread color for the representative, you know, the color reference you get on apps, stitching apps. But it would take some time. It's 40 something colors, 45 colors. So I'm gonna park that for now, and maybe at some point when I have courage, I'll go back and do it. But for now, I'm very happy to stick with Pattern Keeper and continue to work on this piece this way. Hey, Grace. Hi. Grace is watching from California, and she says, I found your channel this past week and love it. Thank you very much. You've inspired me to buy more charts, and as I'm only working on one full coverage stitch, a stitch in time. Yes, I'm familiar with the piece. So I have managed to corrupt Grace, to turn her from monogamous person to come to the other side. Yay! My job is done, Grace. I can take my hat off and leave the stage, or something of that effect. Yes, my job is done. I managed to lure you to the other side. Very nice. And Gayla, GMB, hello everyone, she says. Wave to Gayla. And welcome. Let me know if you're stitching. If you are, let me know which piece you're working on today with me. And the tension of the fabric is perfect today. I really love this frame. And I'm able to screw it really tight where I like it. So this piece is full of memory as well, because I got the kit from Gecko Rouge probably 1 year into the lockdown. And when I saw it, when I discovered Gecko Rouge, I think it was from this channel, UK based as well, this lovely couple called Smiley, Stitching Smiley or something like that, I should know. So I've been watching them, and she's a big fan of Gecko Rouge. She does tons of Gecko Rouge projects. And so I got to know the company. I had never heard of them before. And so I had a look, and I was quite shocked, because I was shocked at the prices. First of all, they don't sell patterns. Maybe once upon a time they did. I think I found out from one of the viewers here. Maybe they did at some point, and then they stopped. So now they only do the whole lot. You know, you get a pattern, you get to, but it's kind of customizable. You can choose the fabric count, and what else you can choose. Whether it's print pattern or digital or both, it's up to you. But you do have to buy the floss from them. They don't just release the patterns. And that's why they're keeping the thread numbers hidden. I think is the copyright consideration, which I kind of understand, but it does make it very inconvenient for their customers, right? Because I'm limited to what apps I can use to work on this piece, because the chart is just not compatible to Saga. The Saga just doesn't recognize it. And same issue with markup RXP as well, because when you import it from markup RXP, the chances are it doesn't know what color is what. So the markup it will pick up all the stitches, but it doesn't know what colors to assign to each stitch. So you have to manually go in and fix it, unfortunately. So the way they do it is making Gecko Rouge very happy, because they stop people from just giving away, passing on the patterns so someone else can just kit it up themselves. But it's not making the customers very happy. I'm not very happy with that. So I don't know. It's hey, gay life stitching. Good. And let me know what you're working on in this beautiful Saturday. So the floss, I think the floss is DMC, not compatible, but actual DMC. But to be honest, having stitched a lot on this project, the texture is slightly different. I'm thinking maybe because they probably buy in bulk from DMC. I don't know whether that has maybe just the texture is a little bit different. I have no idea, but it feels a bit more. It has more, because regular DMC is very glidey. And I'm not saying this as a criticism for Gecko Rouge version. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. But when you stitch, you can feel just a tiny bit more friction when you put the thread through, comparing to regular Gecko sort of DMC threads. It's very, very subtle. Maybe just me being very sensitive, but I can feel the texture of different brands of threads, because they just stitch differently. Put the colors aside, just the feel when you put the needle through the fabric and the thread going through the fabric. I can feel the difference. So it's one more stitch here, 39. But there's advantage of this numbering system, because just 1 to whatever number, to the maximum number. So it's kind of quite easy. There's no gaps in between. Literally, if your project's got 45 colors, then it's 1 to 45. That's it. 67. Gray says, I'm thinking of starting the mini dry flowers. Yes, it's a beautiful piece. And the regular coverage, the little cake shop. Yeah, my God, I love both of them. Go for it. She says, the problem is I also like the window reading look. Go for them all. And the thing is, I talk, you know, I do mention this from time to time, is when you when you find a pattern you really love, I say get it. I mean, wait for the sales date. All these ones are from Heaven and Earth. So wait for the flat sales, or they do a lot of sales, and just grab them when you can, because you don't know when they're going to be discontinued, and some of them have been discontinued, and you don't want to be gutted. So, you know, grab them. You can get them for half price, and just, you know, you don't have to stitch them all right away, though why not? If you ask me. But just get them so you know you have it saved in your folder. You can stitch them anytime. I'd be gutted if I, you know, can't get the patterns I love anymore. Because normally I'll just go in Heaven and Earth, and you know, they have this function called favorite or bookmark or whatever. You can keep them on your account, so you have them ready there, and whenever there's a, you know, flat sales or something, you just dive in and grab those and run, something like that. That's how I do it, so you don't have to go and find them again. You just favor them and keep them there. So no pass thread today. If you're allergic to threads dangling, you're safe today. You're safe. 67. Brittany says, I'm still working on my Max Color Reader's Paradise. Yes, one with lots of books. On a 6th diagonal. Yes, Brittany is working on the stitching method of diagonals, one strip at a time. That's very, very disciplined. So the strips will get longer and longer. It will take longer to complete. $84. The numbers I'm reading, calling today will have no meaning to anyone because this is a Gecko Rouge numbering system. 84, anyone. I'll be so shocked if someone actually come up with a color. I'll be floored. I'll be falling off my chair. Because even within Gecko Rouge kids, these numbers are not in common at all, any shape or form. They're just number based on how many colors you have within that kit. Imagine Joyce just come on and go, light gray. I'll probably pass out. Janelle is working on Map of Australia. My goodness. From Archie Artwork. From Steve Sandron. Wow, Map of Australia. Is it ancient style? Like, you know, like ancient map? Design like that is quite tricky because you're probably dealing with very similar color scheme and just kind of shades of things mostly. Because I know a lady working on kind of ancient map on Instagram, and literally I'm sure that there's more than 4 colors, but it feels like there are only 4 from black to brown, dark brown. So that's a little bit tricky, I think. Go is working on Old Scully. Oh, I'm stitching Old Scully for my son. It was last year's cross. Okay, from Halloween magazine. It's never too soon to start stitching Halloween designs. I'm thinking about maybe, because Tracy, I believe, recommended a beaded project, kind of stitching kit for me, and there are a couple of designs I really love. I'm thinking maybe from, I don't know when is a good time to start stitching for Halloween, because you probably take a couple months at least. It's a smaller piece, but still. So it's a beaded project. Maybe start from sometime August, and then maybe by end of October, here I am being optimistic, I'll be able to finish, or close to finish, you know, have a meaningful progress. And if anyone wants to stitch along, they can get the same kit and we can start on the same time. That could be a good plan. Two here. Oh, Brittany says the next hay sale should be on the 4th of July. That's not too far away at all. Because they do random days as well. Sometimes they do have a day kind of like 4th of July. And but sometimes you just have a look and suddenly everything is 50% for no particular reason. So you just have a look. You never know. And then I'm going to tuck this one under, nice and tidy. No parking. 84. So drink of choice today. I know it's very naughty, but I brew a cup of black coffee. Betty, hello Betty. Say hello to Betty. And yeah, Brittany says Halloween is my favorite thing to stitch. I think Halloween and Christmas, everybody's favorite. And the great thing is you start like, you know, way before. So you get that mood going. So every day is Halloween, every day is Christmas. Why not? You can't stop me. So there's a one stitch here, 32. Oh, these colors are very subtle. Can hardly find an unstitched stitch. I have to look very carefully. And this gown this doll has, it was tricky as well. It's all white. I was going blind, snow blind. Pale colors are tricky. And you know, each piece, particularly if you stitch around the time, that's slightly extraordinary. Let's say lockdown, you know, and we're there for a long time. We're there for, in the UK, we're probably there for 2.5 years before it actually kind of start to feel a little bit normal. So a lot of memories are stitched into these pieces that I was working on every day. And sometimes you listen to something like a podcast or something, and that gets kind of stitched into the piece as well. So sometimes when I look at certain area of the work, I suddenly recall, oh yeah, at that time I was watching this or listening to that. It's like a book, you know, everything's intertwined with the things that's happening around you. 108, 108. I need a new thread here. It's probably Dolly's hair. Let me just stick it with a piece of tape. Because cat hair has superpower. It just goes everywhere. So I use a piece of masking tape sometimes just to stick it up. It's the best way to do it. 108, 108. And you can tell with this set of thread cards, I actually have symbol as well, just as a reference, because there's no thread number. I just wanted to double check with everything, because I generally just stick with thread numbers, but you know, you never know. It's better to be safe than sorry. Hi, Rose. Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Oh. Brittany says right now, some of us are helping, are buying full price to help Michelle and the family out of everything going on. Oh, I'm not aware of that. Tell me, tell me. So it's kind of community. So is she the artist? What happened? I'm not sort of well versed in that community. I'm not familiar. Brittany says I have a Halloween wreath on my front door 24 hours 7. That's great. I actually have a neighbor across the street, and I can see from my bay window, I can see they're on the first floor. They have fairy light on all year long, and they change, not changing colors, they didn't go that far, but they blink sometimes. It's totally Christmas. It's totally cool. They're so sneaky. I bet if you go, well, why do you have fairy light on? They probably go, well, it's just some sort of lighting system we have. But why do they blink? They only blink because it's festive. Don't lie to me. So yeah, so I can always see through there. It's pretty though. It's like fairy light all year long around their window frame, and they blink sometimes. Let me tease this bit down. It wouldn't come down. Hello. Yeah, it puts you in a good mood, isn't it? But the thing is, over at least in London, because urban, I think back in a few years, maybe a few years back, you still get kids knock on the door. I know it's more of an American thing than a British thing, trick or treat. And I'm always shocked that parents allow kids to do that because it's so dangerous. They don't know if I'm some sort of chainsaw murderer or something. And obviously, I'm sure the adults probably follow them door to door. But still, it's brave. And I don't have sweets at home. I've got some dark chocolates, but I don't think I don't think kids like that. They like things that are sweet, not bitter. Maybe you can impart some tofu to them. You know, I have a lot of tofu in the house, but I don't think it's going to go down very well. Yeah, trick or treat. Yes, I've got some firm tofu for you, organic. And never come back again. Oh, Michelle's the owner of Hate. She lost her daughter a few months ago, and now her husband is sick. Oh my goodness. It's so good to us. It feels so good to give back some of the kindness. Absolutely. I'm going to go back and buy a few more patterns so I can have more whips. Oh my God, I had no idea. That's very kind of everyone to do that. Amazing. That's amazing. Well, that's so sad. Yeah, because sometimes this kind of challenges can strike, you know, not just once, but twice or 3 times. I mean, life is so strange. Just when you think you've had it, you know, had enough, something else might come along. And it's so great to have support, even from just people you don't even know. Sometimes it come, you know, through kindness comes through from people we don't even know. That's really wonderful, Brittany. But I hope the company generally do well because it's so popular. It's kind of the go-to place for, you know, people like us to find patterns. I mean, not everybody is doing exclusively hate, but you know, I think it's kind of part of the journey, isn't it? If you do full coverage, you know, hate is just part of the journey there. And then you might, you know, incorporate other companies like Gecko Rouge and many others. So I hope they're doing well in general, financially anyway. But and I'm going to very carefully move down 3 blocks because I always count it wrong. So I want to be careful. 3, 1, 2, 3. Because when I start to drift away, stitching this way, I tend to kind of go 1 block off. It happens a lot. And then I use those stitches as reference, and then you're just getting more wrong as you stitch. So it's better to count from time to time, just to make sure. Oh, I love the tension of this fabric today. Oh, so good to stitch. Right, the last one here, I might take it up to the left there because it's on stitch area, so I don't mind taking it a little bit further. And this beautiful burgundy pink is the reason I wanted to work on this area today. I just love this color. Ah, I see, Brittany. That's a very good way of looking at it. Yeah, you just buy more, right? If it's a discount day, you just buy more patterns, then in a way you are giving back the same amount. Absolutely. And also PDFs have no overhead, so it doesn't cost them anything, you know. So either you buy 5 full price or 10 half price. It's the same thing, same amount you give them. One here. And with a pattern this size, I tend to just focus on this area I'm stitching and focus on that. I rarely even try to reference to look at markups to see, you know, what is further ahead, because I want to keep that as a surprise. I don't even want to think about what's on the upper right or bottom right or wherever. I just want to focus on where I am right now. So when I get further, it's kind of everything's fresh, and there's an element of surprise as well. I mean, sometimes when I'm stitching something, I'm just so zoomed into the area here, and it takes me a while to lean back, to sit back and go, my God, this is what I've been stitching. I had no idea. Let me have a sip of my coffee here while it's still warm. It's so colorful, this piece. So 2 stitches, 82, 82, 82. This pink. You know, if you have as many pieces as I do going on at the same time, even though this piece I hadn't stitched for a few months, I still consider as one of my whips because the intention to go back is always there. You know, it's not like I'm parking it and not wanting to work on it. But I like to flow with the mood and not try to, you know, force myself, kind of guilt myself into working on it. I mean, the first year, pretty much an entire year, the first year, when since I got this kit, I was working on it every day. I was eating, sleeping, thinking about this piece. And, you know, whenever I have some time, I just sit down and stitch. And after 1 year, I kind of go, maybe I want to sort of change it up a little bit. So I moved on to other pieces. And it was great fun. It was great fun. But I think sometimes you guilt yourself into doing it because, you know, for instance, this kid, oh, I haven't told you the price. My God. Don't judge me, please. It took me a while to decide to buy this kit because it's really big, but it's also the first product, first Gecko Rouge kit I bought. So, you know, in theory, you should go, well, and go for smaller pieces. See if you know, like customer experience is good because you're buying the fabric and the floss as well. But I just couldn't because I looked around their catalog and really this piece and also one other piece, it was also from Colin Thompson. It was called Kitchen Cupboard. So you see the pattern emerging. It's also a piece that's got tons going on there. And but that piece was a little bit smaller. And but this one really got my attention because it's got so many different things going on. So, you know, as you stitch through, you basically stitch about 10 different pieces, really, in that sense, because the themes are a little bit different. You know, from really cozy areas, there's part of images on this design, almost like, you know, Halloween-esque kind of design to it. So you're kind of just traveling through the entire piece and experience different things. So I decided well, to be honest, I didn't decide to do it. And I thought, well, I'll sleep over it. Let me think about it. Just because of the price itself. Not so much I was worried that I wouldn't have a good experience buying things from Gecko Rouge. They seem very reputable. But it was more of like the price. And let me get to the price, okay? So, first of all, you are getting the floss. Considering the size of this piece, 80,000 stitches, okay, bear that in mind. The fabric is massive and is also pre-gridded, a little bit more pricey comparing to plain ones. And then you have mountain amount of the floss. It came in 3 boxes. 3 boxes packed with the floss, enough to last about 10 lifetimes for most people. And it was at a grand total of £500. Half a gram in pounds. Yeah, I know. You could call it insanity. So the last time I spent that much on the craft related things would be the full set of DMC. Full set of DMC come with a beautiful antique wooden box drawer thing. It was around 500, just under 500. And so this was a big investment. I didn't do it lightly. I slept over it many nights. At one point I thought, well, I'm not going to do it. This is insane. Don't do it. Wake up. And then I kept dreaming about it, just thinking how wonderful it would be. That's a sign of addict, okay? I'll raise my hand. I raise my hand. Yes, that's me. My name is Yogi, and I'm a stitching addict. Yes, maybe there's some therapists who can help me, but that's what happened. And finally, it was all a blur. I hit the buy button and the pay button rather. I think I hit the buy button many times and then decided against it. And then finally I paid. And I was telling myself, I'm going to be working on this day and night, every day. It will be worth it. You know, nothing will be wasted. And now I have so many, so much floss. I can use it for other projects, all those things you tell yourself to justify it. And also, I don't drink, I don't party, I don't buy fancy things. This is only, element of my life that I spend more money on. So there you go. You're looking at the result. And because of that, when I kind of, parked it a little bit and work on other things, I was feeling a little bit guilty, I was thinking, oh, yeah. But at the same time, I was drawn to other pieces. I want to work on other pieces. But it turned out to be a good thing, because if I just charge through and guilt myself into it, I get really fed up, wouldn't I? But instead, whenever I want to have a rest from it, I did. And I always come back to it because it's beautiful. It's so fun. If you love Halloween, that kind of stuff, Christmas, whatever. You like things to be colorful, vibrant, playful. And that sums up this piece. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. It is a beautiful piece. Brittany says, I love to buy a Gecko kit, but just can't afford it. They are pricey. I'm not going to, I'm not going to justify for them. I'd rather be able to just buy the pattern instead of the whole kit. I love Colin Thompson. Absolutely agree. Gecko Rouge is a slightly different experience. Absolutely. And to be honest, that's what I thought as well. At that point, I already had a whole set of DMC. I thought, well, just kit up things and do it myself. it's still really, really enjoyable. I'm not going to spend half a grand in pound, British pound, to buy a kit, single kit. Doesn't matter how big it is. I'm with you. So it takes a little bit of moment of manners. Not that I regret it at all, not at all. It's beautiful. I'll be stitching for the rest of my life. Very scary thought. But it's, ooh, I think too. Let me just quickly frog it because I can. I miss one stitch here. Yeah, so, you know, it's really the matter of whether you think it's worth it. Colin Thompson is always playful. You know, his work has been translated into, you know, picture books and jigsaw puzzles and to cross stitch as well. But the thing is, Colin Thompson, I'm not aware that Gecko Rouge, not Gecko Rouge, Heaven and Earth has any Colin Thompson pieces. So, you know, if you want, maybe it's exclusive with Gecko Rouge, I don't know. But Gecko Rouge has many pieces from Colin Thompson. Don't look, because you're going to want them. Don't go to Gecko Rouge, please. I beg of you. But they're even the smallest pieces from Gecko Rouge with the kit and the fabric. You're talking probably no less than £60, most of them, majority of them. And then, you know, obviously the prices will go up, depends on how big they are. The largest piece, like world map, if you go for even just 25 counts, yeah, it's not, depends on your options. It could be easily close to a grand. Shocking, I know, shocking. But it's kind of the thing you buy for, you know, kind of a present to yourself or to others for a lifetime. So it's up to the individual to decide. Brittany says it does look like an Amy Stewart. Oh no, she's talking about something else. Trying to follow the chat here. 300 US. Don't know what it's referring to. Yes, I think it's a bit more than that. Roxy says that's why I don't go Gecko Rouge. They don't do PDF only, and they don't tell you the DMC colors. I know, yes. So that's, you know, you can say that's the downside. It's the price itself, and they don't do PDF only. They don't sell patterns. They sell you a whole lot, including fabric. I'm not even sure you can opt out the fabric. So it's the whole thing they want you to buy. And I know it's not for everyone. And I actually haven't gone back and buy another kit. I think one is plenty for me. The rest I'm happily stitching Gecko Rouge, sort of Heaven and Earth and other patterns. But this piece I'll always come back. And they were actually quite good in terms of customer service. When I got my kit, shock horror, I'm glad I checked, because the fabric, it was missing margins on two ends. So there, you know, 4 sides, you're supposed to have margins on all 4 ends. And I did a measuring to the size, the lengthway on the sides actually did not have the margin included. Imagine if you start stitching on that fabric and then realize that there's no margin on the side. I'll be weeping. because you know, obviously, if you start from the center, that's not good. But also, if you start from any corner, meaning that you would leave some margin there when you start stitching, it means you run out of fabric on the other end. But I was being cautious. I did a measuring and I realized the margins on the side was missing. So I took a picture with a measuring tape there, and immediately they were really apologetic. They allowed me to keep the original fabric. So I had, you know, like a small blanket size of fabric. You know, they didn't ask me to send it back. I'll be a little bit mad if they did that. But they didn't even mention it. They just sent me a new one. So that's very, very good of them. And apparently also, if you do run out of any thread, for whatever reason, you shouldn't. There's, you know, quite abundant. If for any reason, obviously you can't top it up yourself because you don't know what the thread number is, they would, within reason, send some more to you. So, but I still rather know the thread numbers. So I feel safe that I can, you know, add more if I wanted to. Because sometimes people change their mind. You know, let's say if you do 25 counts when you bought it, but you might change your mind, want to do a higher, you know, smaller stitches, or the other way around. And you will need more thread, floss, perhaps. You know, people like to have that option. But you can't with Gecko Rouge, unfortunately. So I can see why people might want to stay away from them, even though they do have some beautiful pieces. Okay, it's getting very short now. I'm going to tuck it in here and end it. And for those of you who don't know, I'm streaming on 4K. So if you're watching at home, don't do it if you're outside using your mobile data. But if you're at home Wi-Fi, you can turn the 4K on, so you have really clear pictures. Oh yeah, I've been seeing AI patterns everywhere. I'm slightly disturbed by that. I don't know, some of them look too AI, if you know what I mean. I don't mind if people do it for fun, like Candy Mama, she created an AI image cartoon version of her own cat and she stitched that. That's fine. But I've seen some pattern providers, they do AI and they will come out just very AI-ish. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how you feel. I'm not a fan. AI anything is not my thing. It's fun to fiddle with. You know, most patterns are probably created using software anyway. I think we'll accept that as, you know, it's a thing. But there's a lot of human intervention, you know. Heaven and Earth patterns, they actually credit the pattern designers as well. So, you know, there's some, you know, human element to it. But I think when it's AI, well, ultimately, I think it's images I saw anyway. You know, anything's generated by AI so far, not just the pattern, just, you know, if you watch social media, a lot of AI things, even moving images, videos, etc. But you always know, because we have that built-in, you know, sensor to look at something to detect something that's very artificial. I think we just know. Yes, the eyes can be deceived, but at the same time, we have the ability to kind of sense something just looks odd. And I think AI things, it's popular now. Everybody kind of, it's like a new toy for the humankind. We'll play with it, but eventually I think we're going to get bored. And it will strike a balance between using AI for useful things versus just willy-nilly creating something that does not require any effort. I have the face. Because one of my brothers, he works in technology as well. He's got a pro version of AI. So the free version, everybody has access to, you can play with, but the pro version is truly scary. It's, within seconds, you can generate an image based on your commands, this description comes up with it, and it looks like a real thing. To here. And the thing is, I don't even know what I'm stitching, which is kind of interesting because I'm going to find out. Three. So when I got this kit, I got like a 3-4 boxes of floss, and I barely touch the sort of tip of the iceberg in terms of the amount of floss that I received. I think they're very generous. They just give you a whole bunch. So that's gonna last me for a little while. And it's a shame that I don't know the thread number because it would be great if I could use some of them to top up my other DMC kits. But I can't be really sure without the thread number because even within, the same thread number, if they're produced on different batches, they could literally look different. So even with thread cards, I do have the DMC threaded, thread cards with the charts with the threaded samples. And still, I don't know if I can be 100% sure. And it probably doesn't matter if it's similar, right? But in the back of my mind, I'm going to be thinking that may not be the right number. So that's one thing that you have to kind of mentally prepare yourself if you buy Gecko Rouge kits. You're not gonna know. You're not gonna know this red number. So I think the other day someone asked about Gecko Rouge patterns, whether they involve more confettis, like, comparing to Heaven and Earth design. And I think my answer was, you get confetti. If you look at this bit, if I move down a little bit, if you just look at the face area, and also, or even worse, more extreme, like this area. I remember I struggle. Let me just zoom out a little bit. This bit was hardcore confetti, this area, behind this doggy there. And I don't know how I got through it, because it was brutal. And so when it comes to confetti, yeah, big time. Gecko Rouge or Heaven and Earth. But when it comes to sort of flatter area, there's some areas, for instance, if I move over here, there's one example there. Let me just remove this one. This areas, for instance, that's pretty much flat color, like single color for a big patch there. So it's a little bit extreme, depends on how it's charted, and also depends on what piece you're working on. So I do find a difference between this chart. That's the only Gecko Rouge experience I have. But I find that it's charted in a way that when there's bolder colors, they're willing to give you like a whole patch of the same color. I think Heaven and Earth, probably you still get some sort of blending, even when it's dark or, really bold colors. Gecko Rouge just give you like entire patch block of the single color. I come across quite a few of, like that, quite extreme. So it's kind of either full-on confetti, or you get like in acres of, not quite acres, but a large area with a single color. Hey, Patricia. Good morning, where you are. I think you're in Australia. Yes, if I remember correctly. Welcome. Summer wind. Have a sip of water here. And so it's quite extreme from my experience. Maybe it's fun because sometimes you get to relax and just do, a single color for a little bit. So you probably want to choose your stitching method accordingly to allow yourself to kind of roam around a little bit so you don't get stuck in one area or the other. So with this piece, mostly, I think I part in the beginning. I try to do the diagonal staircase method for a little while. And then I kind of just go, oh, screw that. Sorry if kids are watching, sorry. Really bad example. I just, well, never mind. I just go mini cross country. Sometimes I park, sometimes I don't. But I kind of give up on try to form it into a certain shape, you know, diagonal, whatever. Maybe switch to row by row when it gets to really confetti area, and that's it. So it allows me to kind of just move wherever I want. So if I do one area, it's just block solid color for a little bit, I get bored. Then I can move on to more, you know, somewhere with more color changes and vice versa. So I don't get stuck. So depends on the pattern, you probably want to, you know, choose the kind of stitching style that is going to keep you going. So I'm really, you know, I'm really impressed by people who can do, like Brittany. She does diagonal strips. I don't think I'll last for a day doing that. I think I tried. I must have tried because I've tried everything, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. You know, I just want to straight off this, you know, those lines. I go, well, why can't I just go over there? And then I did. So that's me for you. A couple of stitches there, down here, before I end it. I love this bold, solid colors. It's really good to stitch because it provides really clear definition to something. I don't know what it is yet. And I'm looking forward to finding out. And if you're interested in Gecko Rouge projects, want to see what they are like, you can. This is this channel I mentioned earlier on. This lovely couple. I'm trying to recall the channel name. Stitching Smiles or Smiles. Yeah, I think it's their surname. The surnames are Smiles. What a lovely surname. Stitching Smiles or something like that. She does, I wouldn't say exclusively, but most of her projects are from Gecko Rouge. So you can go to see what Gecko Rouge designs are like. Just don't visit their website because it's dangerous. You don't want anything from them, seriously. A little bit pricey. 6.6. If you're happy doing Heaven and Earth, just stay with Heaven and Earth. I love Heaven and Earth. It's one of the first terms I learned is hate. I was looking around everywhere, and all the video titles they have a hate. I didn't know how to pronounce it. I just thought, what is that? What is that? And until someone explained to me, because I was a complete newbie. And the rest was history. Tease that one off. So the next stitch, a stitch I just made is here, and then I'm going to, the next stitch is actually at the bottom here. So instead of taking the thread straight down, which means it won't get tucked in, I'm going to need to take it away from the area a little bit and do a pin stitch. So I generally not the biggest fan of pin stitch because I don't like the pimple look, but occasionally I'll place a stitch to anchor the thread away from the stitch area and then come back. So I do that. It's my move, okay? You can borrow my move, but this is my move, okay? And, and then I'm going to tuck it. Yeah, it reminds me of an episode of Seinfeld. That's my move. Six, 66. Oh, Betty says, I have at least a dozen hate charts with 2 going. Yeah, Betty, join the club. Join the club. Yes. You know, single project is for chickens. Try 6, okay? Try 10. 112. 112. But quite a few needles docked. So I'm using my needle parking board. So this one is especially for Gecko Rouge because I don't know their thread numbers, and also the texture of the thread feels a little bit different, so I don't mix them with other projects. So this is Gecko Rouge specific exclusive board, and the floss card as well is just especially for one project only. And then I'm going to do another pin stitch away. And then take it back here. Oh, Betty actually had 4 finished. What sizes are they? Heaven and earth. Wow, 4. You're in a very special minority of human beings there. Even minis, even mini charts will take a little while, unless that's the only piece that you focus on. That will probably at least take a year or more. Mini pieces. Minis like about 6, 7 pages. Most of them have 6 pages and then a little bit more on both on the right and the bottom. Most of the patterns I've seen. But Heaven and Earth pages are a little bit bigger. I mean, every chart company is probably have different size pages. Gecko Rouge is a little bit smaller. The page, you know, how they define a page is actually a little bit smaller. So it looks like tons and tons of pages. "112," which means nothing to anybody. Betty says, "Two are the storybook cats, but I did one on 14 counts, 4 feet tall." My goodness. Yes, 14 counts will give you a very large piece. Oh, is the story keep the kind of small strip of from larger designs? They do those little kind of bookmark size or shape pieces. That's quite interesting. So you can get to stitch like a small cropped area of a larger, really large design. That's quite fun to do from time to time. "44. 44. Let's have a look. Ooh, nice and bright. I love it. Nice and bright color there. 44. So from here, it's one stitch here. Right, Betty says, bookmark shape, but not bookmark size. 1/1 on 40 counts. 40 counts? Would you do 1/1? 40 counts? I don't even know what 40 count fabric looks like. I've seen 40 count linen. But normally you do 1/2 when you, because otherwise it'll be so tiny. I have mixed feelings on really small stitches. I'm just thinking, when the stitches are so small, does it lessen the impact of the design? I'm just thinking, because does it start to look quite too delicate? Because if 25, for me, it's probably a sweet spot. But then again, that's just my experience so far. I haven't stitched anything that's higher than 25 with 1/1. I'm just thinking whether it's going to look slightly fadey because it's so small, or does it look really sharp? I don't know. because it's supposed to be high def, right? It's like high def, you have smaller pixels or more pixels. Brittany says I'm doing an Amy Stewart 1/1 on 40 counts. Wow. Yeah, it's tiny, all right, tiny stitches. You're not kidding. And wow, 40 counts. You see, no, I still have so many things I haven't tried. And it's mighty scary. That means I need more projects, right? You're leading me astray here, everyone. I'll probably move up at some point, do a project of 28 count. Yeah, 28 counts to see what it's like. 40, I can't even get my head around. To here. Oh, there's something forming here. Very interesting. 1, 2, 3. It's an interesting pattern. Roxy said 14 counts, you're crazy. Yes, I think Brittany probably has some sort of superhuman eyesight. So she was born with kind of magnifying glass attached to her eyes. Not everyone is so lucky. Some of us just go blind. So move over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. Now, Brittany, you're not crazy. You just gifted. You're gifted with superhuman eyesight. I remember I did 25 counts for the first time. Seriously, I didn't even know what I was looking at. Because normal ADA, you can see the kind of white area where the stitch is going to go over, you know, the cross is supposed to go over. With this, pretty much you just see threads either go down or sideways. And you go, where do I supposed to go? Hello? So I was very confused. It took me a while to train my eyes to kind of recognize what I'm looking at. I was very confused for a little while. So I can imagine I'll probably go through that crisis again if I do, if I ever go near 40 counts. I think 32 will be quite pretty extreme. 28 I can probably manage. 28 will probably just be a little bit smaller than 25. 32, yeah. Brittany says, my eyesight is actually terrible. I'm stitching is literally 4 inches from my face. Yes. On top of your nose. But does it not go blurry when you're, when you're that close? The things we do just to stitch. Hi, Rivers. Hello, darling. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I have to cover all bases. Or people will go, what good evening? It's like 2 p.m. here. And 2 from the right. And also if you're starting, if you're moving from, let's say, maybe up to 18 counts, you're looking to move up to 25, I highly recommend getting pre-gridded fabric. It will be so much easier. At least you don't have to grid yourself, which is not a risk factor. If you count one block incorrectly, the rest just go with it. And also having that visual guide is very helpful if you're starting to kind of, allow your eyes to get used to it. Otherwise, you're just looking at an acre of whiteness. You get lost in the snow. And you might never get out. You're lost forever. And this is just reminding me how fun this project is to stitch. You just don't know what's coming up. Oh, it's 5:40 p.m. there. Almost good evening. So I'm not that wrong. Roxy says all my spare money goes to cross stitch and merch from my favorite musical artists. But that's a great way of spending money. It's spending money on things you love and things are good for you. You know? Absolutely. That's the best way to spend money. 1, 2, another 2. See if I can squeeze in a few more stitches with this tiny bit left. Oh, Brittany, you work for Michael's. Oh, is Michael's the shop that was mentioned the other day? It's got all the goodies. DMC, that's about 1/3 of the prices over there, over here. Is it that Michael's? And then you get discounts. My goodness. Maybe I can squeeze in just a couple more stitches. This tiny little tail here, look how short. This has become this extreme sport when it comes to stitching. To see how far I can push with the thread without wasting it. Oh, 2 more. Yes, please. You can do it. You can do it. Extreme stitching. 1 more. 1 more. I might have made. Yeah. Did it. I did it. Ah, Brittany is working for the craft store. It's like a dream job for you then. But she's on the logistics, so the business end. Good. Oh, wow. So you're surrounded by all the goodies. My God. And you get discount. Wow, that's a dream job for a stitcher. Very nice. Move up here. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. Whoops. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. Lovely pink. It's Christmas every day for Brittany. Indeed. It's like if you love fashion and you work for a fashion magazine, you know, a devil wear Prada situation. How good is that? And do you have a Anna Winter figure in Michael's? One, two. Oh, something's taking shape here. One, two. I'll take a sip of some water. Oops. Quite a few stitches of this color. It's lovely. One, two. This fabric is so big. Because most regular size projects I do, I kind of wrap the side of the fabric, roll them around, and then clip the end bit on top of the frame. And this one's so big, it's not possible to do that. So I kind of having a nice kind of tail dangling downwards between my legs because they're kind of long. I do wrap it up with kind of a shoe bag, drawstring shoe bag, just to protect it. But still, it's quite a bit of fabric in there. So when you stitch a really large piece, the fabric management is another thing you have to tackle. So it's nice and tidy. One, two, another two. One, two, three. And Pattern Keeper is still the most responsive app. I'd say out of all three I'm using right now. It's just really simple and easy. I like Saga, and it's responsive-ish, but because it's got so many different functionality happening at the same time, sometimes the operation is a bit less straightforward and maybe less intuitive. Once you figure it out, yeah, you can work it. But I think with Pattern Keepers, most people, even using it for the first time, other than the fact you have to switch to different modes, right? But literally, if you look at the screen, it just looks like a paper pattern, but in digital form. And you just touch it, you can mark it. So that's why I think most people have probably easiest time using it. If they can actually improve the most switching, you know, imagine if you don't have to switch to search mode, mark mode, move the canvas mode. If they can consolidate all three together, my God, it would be so powerful. It will literally be the best app as far as stitching goes. And I think that this is where Cross Stitch Saga has the upper hand, because there's no mode, different modes. You just you do whatever you do on a mobile device. You know, pinch and zoom, tab, resize. It's intuitive in that way. But when it comes to parking message, I think Pattern Keeper is still the app to use. Oh, literally. Entire area is filled in by this color. Very nice.
So this is what I was talking about when it comes to color distribution. You know, Gecko Rouge, at least this piece versus the average, sort of normal, regular heaven and earth. Even regular colors, you know, normally I felt like even with areas like this where you have kind of two key colors flowing through a given area, I think not pattern keeper, the heaven and earth would kind of blend a few more colors, maybe loose stitches here and there. Not so much confetti, but at least blend in a couple of colors there to create more sort of shades, gradients. But I think pattern keeper. I need to put pattern keeper aside. But Gecko Rouge chart, at least this chart, it feels like it's happier to just allow you to stitch those two key colors without putting in one stitch here and there, if you know what I mean. If it's not totally necessary. That's kind of how I kind of, what it feels like to me. Rose says, would love it if Pattern Keeper was sync and show same chart progress on all devices. Yes, I think the cloud functionality is slightly, a little bit, you know, leaving you to desire a little bit more, because at the moment everything has to be manually backed up. There's no syncing to anywhere. I think to do that, they probably need to go down sort of account creation route, because they need to associate the backup, the sync version to an account. I think most people are probably okay with that, you know. They probably, you know, most people are probably okay to create an account. But I think functionality wise, it will probably be more work. I don't know how much work, but yeah, if they can, and also they need to be able to store that information somewhere, unless they allow you to just pick whatever cloud storage, like Google, iCloud, Dropbox, whatever, and allow you to do that. So there are a couple of different ways they could do it, but I think that would be good because people just focus on stitching, and things could happen to the devices. You know, the devices could go faulty, the batteries could become faulty, whatever. Or you drop it, you break it, everything goes. And also, if you want to switch to a different device, you have to literally back up every single piece you have, the progress there, in order to transfer it, import to another device. And also sometimes you might be using iPad, but when you're traveling, you want to be able to pick up your phone and then just load up that pattern if you're stitching on the go. You know, some people do on a plane or wherever, on a train. And it would be nice to have. And so you know everything's synchronized, it's backed up, it's a peace of mind. So there's still a lot they need to work on to make it better. And particularly, you know, markup RXP as well, because they're charging you. I use the app, but they're charging me annual fees. And the whole point of charging someone ongoing fee is that they promise you that not just so you pay the same app over and over again, you are paying for the improvement, the updates, the constant improvement. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen a lot of changes since I started using Markup RXP 2 years ago. And I'm not even talking about fancy things, just basic user experience. There's still a lot they need to do to make it a good app. At the moment, it's just okay, I think. It's a good option if you're on iOS, you don't have Android. Yes, it's probably an option if you're iOS. But is it a great app? At this stage, no. The import functionality is quite powerful. The pattern recognition, if you have paper patterns, yeah, that's the only reason I use it. So I can use it to mark my paper pattern digitally. But is the experience good? No. And I'm not talking about like, bells and whistles. I'm just talking about the basic user experience. Is it responsive? Sluggish. Are the charts super clear? No, they're a little bit blurry comparing to Pattern Keeper. So I hope if that developers are watching, I'm more than happy to support them as a customer, because they're providing something that other apps can't do just at this point, the import of paper charts. But I like to have a better user experience. Notice the parking, it's very convoluted. So, and Grace says, I want to download Saga, but it looks so daunting and chicken out. I get it. You do need to get your head around working Saga. I would say if you spend a day using it, you probably figure everything out, because you don't need to know every single functionality to use it. You just need to know the ones you need, right? And the ones you need is marking, navigate through the charts, and maybe I think that the reason I want to use Saga is that I can define the user area and just stitch in that area in whatever order that I want. And that's a pretty powerful and fun to do, sort of in terms of method. So currently only Saga has that capability. So, it really depends on whether you would like to try out that feature. I mean, if you can get over the hurdle of converting PDFs, which there are options there. There's a desktop version that's free to download. You could convert the PDFs. Once that's done, it just matter of maybe spending a little bit of time just playing with different features. And it's not hard to work out. It's just that you need to park the concept of Pattern Keeper aside a little bit and kind of just get to know what the developer is trying to do with Saga. And that's it. Once you get your head around, it's not a problem. It's actually, because there may be 40 different functionality, but you only need 5. So all you need to know is that 5 actions that you want to do over and over again. And that's it. You don't need to be a Saga expert. But I understand it. They might put some people off because it looks more complex, and it is. But complex doesn't mean difficult, right? It's just more layers to it because it's trying to do more. And that's it. And once you figure out the basic bread and butter of what you're trying to get the app to do, And then just pick up bits and pieces, need to know basis. You don't need to know everything. So you don't get overwhelmed. Hi, Carla. Hello. Say hello to Carla. Carla's in the chat. What are you working on today, Carla? Let me move it over here. 1, 2, 3. Let me try to find my way here. And if you want to know how to convert your PDFs to make it compatible with Saga, just look to my channel on the community posts. There's one tab called posts, and you will find a post. There's only one post there, so you can't miss it. I put all instructions that I received from Karen Needlebuck. She was very kindly provided a lot of pointers. So there are links that you can download the software you need on your desktop. It's all for free. The only part that you need to pay is the actual app on iOS. You can download the Android version for free for now because the developers cannot sell the app on the Google Play Store at the moment. So they very, very kindly provided a free link. If you're on Android, you can use that copy on your Android for now. So, and most people probably an Android device if you use Pattern Keeper, right? So you're already there. Ah, Carla is working on Fluffy Valentine. Very nice. Very nice. I can feel a craving of chocolate coming. So nice to stitch this. Right, I'm gonna go grab a block of chocolate, a new packet. There you go. This is the dark chocolate plain version. It's actually my favorite. I like the orange version as well, but I'm craving for a plain dark chocolate experience here. Grace asks, I think it's regarding cross-stitch saga as well. Will I be able to convert everything using my iPad? I'm trying to think. Currently, no. So in order to convert the your PDF to Saga compatible, you do need to use a desktop software. Let me just that you can download, which is a desktop version of Paradise. So Paradise is not a stitching app that exists on Android, okay? And you can use the app on Android, the Paradise app on Android to do the conversion. But if you're on iOS, clearly you can't do that. So the only other option is to do it on a desktop PC. Mac or PC, doesn't matter. It's got both versions because the conversion app only exists on Android, if that makes sense. So cheers, everyone. So you can't just do it on iPad alone, but if you're on Android, technically you could do it on Android alone. But the app, Paradise, the app, is still there that you can download, the free version. But in order to access the conversion capacity, you need to upgrade to Pro. And currently they're not allowed them to make any profit on Play Store. Bummer. So you can't even upgrade to that, if that makes sense. So there are two parts in order to use Saga, which is the conversion of PDF, which is one-off thing for each PDF. It's not something you have to do all the time. And then that's the app itself that you can download on both platforms. I know it sounds a little bit more, probably more convoluted than what it is, but that's all it is. Because it doesn't recognize PDFs. But other than that, once you convert the files, it's just a matter of loading it onto Saga, and that's it. That's not complicated. The actual app itself is not complicated. So Brittany says the fact that you can eat while stitching gives me anxiety. Right. See? I might not have super eyesight as you, but my superpower is I'm able to eat chocolate while stitching, and you can't do it. Ha! There you go. Yes, I do have that super ability to munch on chocolates and stitch at the same time, as you can see, as I demonstrate here, elegantly. But I am known to get chocolate stains on my work. No, not very frequently. I am very mindful. But it has happened. But it's okay, I just stitch over it. Nothing you can't fix with that. Luckily, I haven't stained the stitch area. It's more on the fabric. So, or you can just eat like pale food, you know, you can eat white chocolate or maybe a chunk of tofu. How's that as an option for snacks? tofu, nice and plain, nothing will stain. A different snack of choice that you can pick. Brittany says, I heard the developers is doing a free version of Pro to get around. Ha, do you mean Paradise? Yes, that's the version I'm talking about. You can download. Oh, hang on. Yes, that's the. No, I'm talking about the free Pro version of Paradise on desktop. So the desktop app that I'm talking about is a free version of Saga that has conversion capability. But the mobile device, which is might be what you were referring to, I wasn't aware of that. Wouldn't that be amazing if there's a Pro version that you can do, outside the Play Store? Because that's the stumbling block at the moment, that they're not able to allow the users to upgrade to the Pro version. And hopefully the situation is going to change soon. Otherwise, yeah, that'd be great if they're providing a link of some kind that you can just go straight outside of the App Store to do it. But at least you can do so via the desktop. The PC or Mac version on a desktop. It's doable right now. I think it's just so unfair. They're punishing these developers, they have nothing to do with whatever the government's doing. It's not like they have control over that, and they're being punished and penalized for that. And I hope this is not their livelihood. Imagine if that gets taken away. That's a big thumbs down for me. Oops. And I'm going to move over here. Continue with this color. Yeah, Grace. There's no need to go overboard. It's a nice option. I kind of encourage people to use it because the option is there. But you do need to kind of work out and take a few more steps than usual with regular apps. But the options are there. The Pattern Keeper is perfectly good. Just stay with that. Try and tease that bit off. Let me see. Ah, Brittany, yes, there is a code. I got a code from Karen. She was very nice to send me one that's unused. Um, but I didn't publicize that because I don't know how many codes they want to go, send out. So, but yes, potentially there's a code that you could get. If you have that code and you have Android device, then you are there. It's easy peasy. You just do everything on your tablet. So maybe worse, if you're really interested, you can just contact the developers. I'm sure they'll be very happy to hear from people who really, really want to use the apps. And they seem to collaborate with each other, Paradise app and Saga. But it would be great if Saga can have that functionality built in, so you don't need two apps to manage the process. Yes, Brittany, not all Russians support the war. I mean, it's not like they have control over what the government does, whether you support it or not, right? I mean, not even Russia, even your country or my country. Do I have the say on what they do necessarily? No. But imagine if the world is going to punish me and my work for the government's decision that I have very little control over. I'm not going to be too happy. It's a slippery slope when you punish civilians for anything the governments do. They've gone off. They lose the plot because they don't know what else to do. A River says, talk with the developer of Paradise today. Wow, okay. He'll soon be adding a temporary pro access to the purchase option. Oh, that's great news. Are they allowed to do that? If they're allowed to do that, then people can just go and upgrade because the app itself is free to download. So there are a lot of features you can already do for free. But in order to have more advanced functionality, then you need to upgrade to Pro, and that's the problem right now. Anything with transaction, they're banned from doing so on Google Play. But Apple has been allowing Saga to just be there. Yeah, the world hasn't fallen apart, so I don't know what Google's got their kind of knickers twisted. Virtual signaling. Virtue signaling, rather. And I don't know what they're trying to say. They're just being unfair to people, innocent people. What are you saying, Google? You're not making much sense. So that would be great if that happens. And they should be compensated for a great app, right? The great functionality, things that worked on are clearly pretty hard. And if you look at the quality of the products, a Saga, and also Paradise, to be honest, it looks quite nice as well. I haven't used it. I just use it for conversion. If you work hard on something, you should be compensated for that. Why is it so hard? That's great news, River. Oh, okay. Brittany says, such an offense too long, I miss out the code. Oh, is it like time limited thing? Oh my God. Must be nerve-wracking. I'm going up here. It's quite nice to be able to work on just the same color for a little while and just filling up the space here. That's quite lovely. But also when you have so many stitches of the same color, you could end up stitching in the wrong place because they're everywhere. Up and down. I think cross country is probably easier to do with maybe 25 counts, because even if you start stitching sort of boxed in areas, it's not too tight, because normally that's when I kind of get not put off, but I sometimes don't enjoy it when I have to push my needle through the areas. It's got a lot of stitches around. But 25 count is pretty okay from that. Perspective, I'm going to end this here. Thinking whether I should keep going with this color or maybe move forward and start. Maybe yes, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to a different color and start filling in these areas and figure out what exactly I'm stitching. That'd be good to know. 114. 114. 114. Oh, hello. Is it Remedios? Hello, good evening. From Spain, my goodness. Very nice. River says everyone should contact Google and ask them. Exactly. What are you doing, Google? What are you trying to prove?
Exactly.
Why are you trying to sabotage people's livelihood? And come over here. Four stitches here. This is really fun part to stitch. There's a different kind of formation of colors. Three at the bottom. Oh, that's quite pretty. A few more stitches over here. And tomorrow I have one class I'm teaching in the morning, which is quite strong class. I'm always looking forward to teaching that one because you can teach moves that perhaps I wouldn't teach with other classes, because this the Sunday morning crowd is pretty strong. Oh, I nearly I just automatically tried to park downwards and forgot. That's not what I'm doing right now. The autopilot. Let me just tuck this in. So I worked on the sequence, design a sequence for tomorrow, and there's another class in the afternoon as well. So I'm really looking forward to teaching those. 114. And it's always fun to teach sequences that's kind of haven't taught before. Not so much the poses, but for instance, even how you transition into it. You can do it in so many ways. And when you find a different way of doing it, it's so fun to teach, and hopefully it's fun to practice as well. It keeps everything fresh. Oops. So Karen from Needlebug actually taught me that if you have issues sort of threading with one needle, you can just flip the needle the other way, apparently. It might thread differently. So that was a new thing I learned. I didn't know that. Because I was talking about sometimes when you have, for whatever reason, the thread just wouldn't go through, even though they're identical needles. Sometimes that I just pick another needle, exactly identical brand, size needle, and it just threads. The thread just goes through. And for me, that was one of those mysteries of stitching. And it turned out that it could be, when I pick up another needle, I'm actually threading from the other side, the flip side of the eye of the needle. So it's easier to go through. I didn't know that. I thought it was magic. It's needle stitching magic. One, two. I'm trying to decide whether I should take the needle over here, which is a little bit far away. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take it down and then over. I'll come down here. And then do maybe a pin stitch over here. And then take it up. Stitching acrobat. I'm actually doing really well on stitch counts. Where am I? 1, 2. Here. One, two. 2 over here. And I might take it downward a little bit, a few stitches here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Might as well. It's not too far away. It looks really pretty. A few more stitches down here. Might as well do that. See, maybe I can use up the entire thread. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I remember the first year when I was stitching this piece every day. I was just so engrossed, sort of thinking about this piece, trying to see if there are different ways to tackle it. Because I remember when I first come across a patch that's very, very confetti, like hardcore confetti. And I was relatively new. I'm still new to stitching comparing to a lot of you. But I didn't know what to do. I was taking the thread, the needles and thread everywhere. So the back of the confetti area is built up so much. It was so difficult to stitch, to put the needle through. And I wasn't having a lot of fun. So two here. Let me see, 2 is 3. And eventually I just had to kind of research a little bit more to see how areas like that are kind of tackled by other stitches. So gradually you go, well, it's okay to change the stitching method halfway. You don't have to, for some reason I just thought, well, if you pick one, you have to stay with it. And then I realized that I don't. I can stitch it however, whatever way I want, as long as it makes sense. So I'm going to fill up these empty ones, stitches here. Oh, no, 44. Just picked up the wrong number. 44. Nope, that's another one. 43. 43. Just a sip of water here. So I'm thinking Spain is probably around the same time zone here, maybe an hour ahead. So maybe it's already Sunday over there, thinking. Well, we're on summertime here, so it's 1 hour ahead than usual. Loose stitch here. And I'm going to keep stitching this color till maybe till the thread is run out. Quite a few stitches of this color. Let me have a look. One over here, 1, 2. Yes. Another one here. One below. And this way of stitching the back should be relatively tidy because everything is being tucked down, and also not that many floating thread, if at all. You probably can't see it. Maybe at some point I'll take a photo of the back. It's quite scary. I've seen people doing cross country, like long distance cross country, like back. You know, the back was actually quite scary because it just, you have long thread just floating everywhere. You probably waste a lot of material as well, which I don't like to do. I think the threads belong to the front rather than the back. One more here. 2. There's 3 stitches I can handle. Any more than that is a no-no. I think I've done 4 stitches when I'm feeling really lazy rather than ending the thread and start again. You know, I just go, oh, never mind. But otherwise, 3 stitches. It's the maximum number of stitches I'm allowed to cross over my thread. Oh, you can see there's some pattern emerging there. How exciting. 1, 2, 3 here. 3. There's one more leg here. I think this design is such a playful piece. The Pikachu needle miter is quite appropriate. I try to match needle miters to the work I'm stitching. And I've got some little bit of thread left. I'm going to just fill up this space here. Definitely pick the right area to work on tonight because such a cheerful set of colors. Trying to see, okay, so most of the unstitched area is filled with this color, so it's quite nice. I can just hop on and fill up these stitches nice and easy. Right, a few more stitches to go with this color, and once I finish this thread, I'll show you how many stitches I've done today. Ooh, not bad at all. I mean, I pride myself as a slow stitcher, but this way of stitching is actually pretty efficient. You know, this certain project just call for a sort of parking method or something like that. I think each piece is kind of speaking to you in some way. They want to be stitched a certain way. And if you go against it and try to pick the method that doesn't work for the pattern, you will know. You will know about it because you will probably feel like you were kind of going against the grain. You can feel it. But when you pick the right one for the pattern, it just flows. And this one, for some reason, parking just doesn't flow. So somehow it just led me to want to just stitch this way. Let me see. It's a few more. Hopefully I've got enough for these ones. And I'm gonna fill up the final 2 stitches here. And it's perfect because just past midnight over here in London. Whenever it's kind of quite late over here, I always think, well, but a certain part of the country, people just woken up. Maybe it's broad daylight, you know. Oh, there you go. Look at this. It's beautiful. Not polka dot, but a little bit, you know, like that. So let me remove this and zoom out a little bit to show you what's happening today. So today I've started from this strip of black. I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out as I stitch and find out as I go. But just let me quickly show you my the picture I took before I started today. So here, so you can see the area under the doll here was empty. So this is the area I've been working on today, and this is what happens. It's gorgeous. And let me remove this here, just let you know. Thank you, Grace. Oh, thank you. My stitches are not always pretty, but when, you know, when it comes together, it looks half decent. So I'm happy with that. And let me just quickly show you my progress today in terms of stitch counts. So here we go. Let me just turn on focus here. And let me show you what happens today. So, so today I managed to finish close to 400 stitches, 387, not too shabby at all. For me, it's super fast, okay? There have been sessions I've done, 2-3 hours, maybe under 200, depends on the stitching method. And so with this method, it flows. And also maybe to do with the fact that there isn't a heavy confetti happening here. So that probably helps as well. And these, you know, in terms of color distribution, this is very civilized. You know, there's nothing crazy, not a lot of one stitches everywhere. So it probably helps. And in terms of percentage, 7.77. I don't know that's moved forward anything at all. I can't remember the beginning, but somewhere along there. But I'm edging toward 8%, which is amazing. Whenever it changes the number and goes up 1%, it's worth celebration there. So overall, just let me just show you a quick sort of overview of where I am in terms of the entire piece. So yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. A little bit more to go. But I'm happy with that because every part of this piece is kind of, you know, enjoyment on its own. When I was stitching this doll, even though there's a lot of white stitches and I'm terrible with pale stitches, my eyes just go, you know, semi-blind, but I enjoy that. The outcome is really beautiful. Look at this. So I'm very happy with that. So I continue to work on it. I would like to work on this project more because there's so much more to do with this piece. And I'm curious to find what's happening down here. So I'll continue to work on it. And I hope you'll stitch with me as well. 777? Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Brittany, well spotted. It is 7.77%. Yes, I'll be buying a lottery ticket tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning. And I'll let you know if I win anything. Carla, thank you so much. Great stitching today. And I hope you enjoy your session as well. Oh, Brittany says, I managed 247 stitches. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And yes, Brittany, only a few more stitches to go, one stitch at a time. Janelle says, has anyone done a floss tube on how to convert a PDF? Oh, you know what? Janelle, if you're referring to the Saga app, try Karen's channel, Needlebug, bug as in BOGG, if you don't know her already. She has done a live tutorial not very long ago. Just look at her live session, the section under her channel, and you'll get some idea. And definitely, she's the go-to person if you have some questions. She's very helpful and very knowledgeable with the process, and I believe she has communication with the developers as well. So go to Needlebug's channel if you have questions regarding conversions or questions regarding Saga. So with that, I am going to sign out as past midnight. I can't believe how fast the time, the 2-3 hours that just flew by. So I will come back with another piece in the next live stream. I don't know what I'm gonna work on. I could come back to this piece. I don't know yet. It will be a surprise to me and a surprise to you, to both of us. So thank you, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your stitching session as well if you're stitching with me. And if you're playing, if you're watching playback, I hope you enjoy the session too. And definitely come join me live when you can. And thank you for all your chat, all your nice chat going on there. I'm always learning new things chatting to you, and it's always fun as well. So thank you, everyone. And so from here, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. But it's definitely good night from London. So from peaceful London, I say good night to you. Nighty night, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. I'll see you next time.